Have you ever wondered what would happen if Burger King and McDonald's took over the world? Well, Pixar did, and they released a movie back in 2008 called WALL-E to criticize the culture of overconsumption. And in today's video, I'll review this movie in this series of videos where I rank every Pixar movie ever made. If you are new to this channel, hi, welcome! And if you want to support this small channel of mine, please consider subscribing to it. Now, enough yapping said, let's go over the movie WALL-E. And don't forget that this entire video is subjective and that you have the right to have your own opinion. So, the movie starts off with this cute little robot named WALL-E who likes to get tickled by cockroaches. WALL-E is a robot that cleans up planet Earth from the countless amount of waste humans left there, to an extent that he can even build buildings from it. We learn that humans left the planet to live in space, and that they built robots like WALL-E to clean up the mess after putting the concept of overconsumption to a whole nother level. While cleaning up, he finds a plant, which is something that he has never seen before. While going back to its place with the plant, WALL-E sees a red dot and starts acting like an average cat in an early 2010 YouTube video. Turns out that red dot came from a spaceship landing on Earth, and to avoid getting crushed by it, WALL-E does something that we all did at least once while playing Minecraft. Then a more modern robot comes out of that spaceship, and WALL-E suddenly falls in love with it. Until it pulls out a gun and starts shooting. The white robot, whose name is Eve, then aura farms with its gun, and we get a montage of moments where WALL-E is simping for it. Needless to say that WALL-E is not slick at all. It then invites Eve to its home, and let's just say that whatever Eve does in there is either impressive or destructive. When WALL-E shows Eve the plant that it found earlier, Eve starts tweaking out, steals the plant, and then goes to sleep. WALL-E is obviously weirded out by this situation and tries to wake Eve in any way possible. Problem is, the spaceship comes back and takes Eve back, but because WALL-E is such a simp, well, it infiltrates the spaceship to try and get Eve back, leaving that poor cockroach behind. Yeah, even in deadly situations, it still simps for Eve at all costs. Inside the spaceship, WALL-E explores the place in search of Eve and starts rage baiting small robots. WALL-E then steps into a new zone containing the new generation of humans. Americans. Well, at least stereotypical Americans that eat McDonald's every day. But not very far from reality, you know? We then learn on the ship's cockpit that because one plant has been discovered on Earth, humans can finally return to their native planet. Wow, it only took them about, what, 700 fucking years? Anyways, Eve and WALL-E get diagnosed, and because WALL-E thought that Eve was getting killed, it took Eve's gun and accidentally shot at the panel that ended up shutting down everything in the room, just as if WALL-E had aim assist set at 100%. And so, because WALL-E had such good aim, every malfunctioning robot is freed, and everyone wants to destroy WALL-E and Eve, while Eve tries to convince WALL-E to go back on Earth. WALL-E refuses to go without Eve and starts acting like a baby, but WALL-E gets pranked by a small robot and gets sent alone to Earth anyway with that one plant that could save humanity. Right before the capsule self-destructs, WALL-E manages to survive thanks to a fire extinguisher? God damn, I gotta respect that creativity. Eve then takes the plant that somehow survived the explosion and hugs WALL-E, which I'm pretty sure made WALL-E's day. Back in the ship, Eve gives the plant to the captain, and he plans to return to Earth. Problem is, his assisting robot refuses to do so and throws the plant in the trash. But WALL-E saves the day and rescues the plant. Oh, never mind, it gets electrocuted and falls in the trash too. Eve then also gets thrown in the trash, and the entire spaceship becomes controlled by the evil machine that was assisting the captain. In the ship's dump, WALL-E and Eve almost get sent to space by giant WALL-E machines, but unintentionally get saved by this small cleaning robot that WALL-E was rage baiting earlier. I think we should give this small robot the Medal of Honor for that. The three of them then escape from the dump, Buzz Lightyear style, and with the help of the malfunctioning robots from earlier and the captains, they try to redirect the ship towards Earth, but the evil machine fights back by playing curling with the passengers. Seriously, What the f is that? Wall-E then gets destroyed while showing off its biceps. But the captain somehow manages to fight the evil machine and saves the day. The ship is officially going back to Earth. And when landing, they get welcomed by that cockroach who was waiting there for I don't know how long. Wall-E then gets repaired by Eve. Well, not completely repaired because it lost its memory. But at least it's still functional, right? And it's not as if doing something simple like, I don't know, holding its hand would make its memory come back, right? Oh, never mind, Wall-E's back among us. I guess that's the power of friendship for y'all. And so, Earth finally gets recolonized by humans who think that plants will grow into pizzas.
Pizza plants!
And so, that was a summary of the movie. Now, what did I think of it? Well, I have some good thoughts and some bad thoughts about it. I think the movie is generally interesting, but not very entertaining. The movie shares a strong message with really likable protagonists and an interesting environment. But the story itself feels a bit long, slow, and boring at times. Even if I think that the movie misses a bit of engagement, I think it brought some interesting ideas and concepts that makes us rethink about our purpose in the world and about how we might end up if we continue to mistreat our planet like that. Wall-E is a very likable protagonist. We have such pity for it because of how alone and shy it is. Wall-E is sometimes so relatable, and that's what makes us, the audience, more attached to it. We want it to be happy, and what will make it happy is love. Talking about its love interest, let's mention Eve, who's also a very likable protagonist. It started off on a weird note by pulling out its gun every time it thought it was in danger, but we ended up seeing a side of its character that was more emotional and that showed love towards Wall-E. Their relationship was very interesting and cute to watch, and because it's mainly the heart of the movie, it makes it not unnecessary, unlike in certain movies. It's a relationship that works within the story. It even makes them more humans than some humans are in this movie, you know? I think this movie's message is one that really makes us rethink about the world and that scares us about the future. It gives me Fallout vibes and I love it. The movie mentions some important things, especially in today's climate, and I really respect the boldness of it. This movie almost has no dialogues, and I think that they still played well with the sound design without it. Music is an important part of the movie, and I really enjoyed it. The story is able to move forward without necessarily using dialogues, and I respect Pixar for that choice. They were able to make us attached to the protagonists only by watching their mimics and listening to some sounds they make, which is challenging, not gonna lie. Pixar took risks with this movie, and I think they did a solid job with it. Still, I sometimes felt bored watching this movie, but that's probably a generational problem of mine because of all that crappy ADHD stuff and social media scrolling, you know? I also find the environments boring. Both Earth and the spaceship were not very appealing visually, and in Earth's case, it makes sense because the purpose is to make it look boring. It's kind of the point of a post-apocalyptic world, you know? And the side characters were also not very memorable. Most of them had one purpose, and usually that one purpose was to do a certain action. And because they have no dialogues and no arcs, well, I forgot most of their existence. Even though I respect how they portrayed the captain, I don't really find his arc interesting, and I think the overall ending of the movie was mildly satisfying. I like how it turned out for Wall-E and Eve, but it was too vague for the humans, and I didn't find their conclusion conclusive enough, if you get what I mean. Visually, I don't think the movie is better than its predecessors, but what I like though is the mix of animation and live action. That's honestly a pretty unique thing they did there, and the way they used it made it not too cursed. It looks cool enough, and I also like how dumb the movie's humor is, and how sometimes it criticizes how humans ended up being. And so, with all that said, I will put this movie in B tier, right behind Finding Nemo. I think what made me like Finding Nemo more was the protagonist's journeys. Both movies are very emotional, but story-wise, I like Finding Nemo more. And with all that said, that concludes this 9th episode of ranking every Pixar movie. Next time we'll go over Up, a movie that I was looking forward to rewatching during this ranking, and that I'm pretty excited to rediscover, because it's been a while since I've watched it. If you don't want to miss out on this next episode, episode? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button to get notified whenever I upload. If you enjoyed or hated this video, make sure to leave a like or dislike. I send you guys all my love and I hope to see you in the next one. See y'all!